Hello, once again. Welcome to Hamogate Radio Communications, your topmost management radio communication. So, today we are going to take a step further into our conversations on the science and sustainability of systems. Over the course of the first three episodes, I've been able to break down the definition of a system, what it entails, and how it operates. So today we're going to go a step further into our conversation. We're going to look into complexity. What happens when cause and effects break down? One thing many humans love, especially leaders, executives, policymakers, and even analysts, is simplicity. We often love answers that fit neatly into one sentence. Inflation is high because of this. The company is failing because of that. The economy would improve if we could just change this one policy. The institution collapsed because leadership failed. Because we are often excited by the idea of solution. We want to show that we have an understanding of what we are dealing with. So we want to make it simplified. If this is good, this will be better. If this is bad, this will be worse. Simple, clean, comfortable. But the deeper you study systems, the more uncomfortable you become with mono perspective explanations. Because in real life, outcomes rarely come from one cause. A company collapses and everyone points to one CEO, but nobody talks about the years of weak incentives, the delayed reporting, the distorted communications, the hidden debt, internal fear culture, bad recruitment systems, over centralized decision making, and dozens of small failures accumulating quietly beneath the surface. And then, when this collapse finally happens, majority says nobody saw it coming. But the question or the statement to affirm now is that system scientists will disagree. The signals were there, the feedback loops were already moving, the pressure was already building. The problem is that most human beings are trained to notice events and not dynamics. We often notice the explosion, we ignore the pressure inside the pipe. And that is the danger of complexity. Systems can appear stable right before they fail. The market can look healthy before it crashes. An organization can look profitable before it collapses. A nation can look politically calm before instability erupts. Because in complex systems, appearances are often delayed reflections of deeper structural realities. I'll take that again. In complex systems, appearances are often delayed reflections of deeper structural realities. Today, we're going beneath the surface of modern systems. We are moving away from the illusion that the world behaves like a machine, because the systems shaping our lives today, economies, governments, corporations, institutions, digital platforms, financial markets, are not machines. They are living, adaptive environments. And when we understand that, we stop asking, how do we control the system? Then we start asking, how do we build systems that survives uncertainty? How do we engage an adaptive living system? So let's start to take it from the beginning. Let's look at why intelligent people still mismanage systems. Let's start with something uncomfortable today. Many system failures are not caused by stupidity. They are caused by intelligent people using the wrong mental model. That distinction matters because many leaders were trained in environments where predictability existed, authority flowed downwards, and cause and effect relationships were feasible. You press a button, a machine responds. You increase output, output rises. The logic works in mechanical environments. But once human beings became part of the system, the rules changed completely. Why? Because human beings react. Humans adapt, they resist, they cooperate, they panic, they imitate, they hide information, they pursue incentives, they anticipate consequences. And the moment people begin reacting to each other, the system becomes dynamic. This is why managing a factory machine is easier than managing an economy. Machines obey instructions, human systems interpret them. This is where leaders get trapped. They attempt to run complex organizations using mechanical logics. More rules, more supervision, more reporting layers, more approvals, more centralization. But instead of improving on the system, they suffocate it. And then they become shocked when innovation dies, communication slows, fears increases, and the organization becomes less intelligent over time because complexity punishes rigid control. And summarily, this is telling us that in the course of trying to exert control over the system, they are making it handicap, they are suffocating it, they are limiting its productivity. Now let's further break this down further. Let's look at complicated systems and complex systems. Let's make that important distinction here. There is a difference between something complicated and something being complex. A jet engine is complicated. It has thousands of components, but every component follows a predictable engineering law. If an expert studies this long enough, the system can be understood completely. But a society, a cooperation, a financial market, a political ecosystem, these are complex systems. They are not complicated systems, rather they are complex systems because components inside them, human beings, change behaviors continuously. Markets behave differently during fear than during confidence. Employees behave differently under pressure than under trust. Citizens behave differently during scarcity than during stability. This means that the system itself evolves and that changes leadership entirely. In complicated systems, expertise dominates, but in complex systems, adaptability dominates. It is why some highly intelligent organizations still fail. They become too rigid in environments that are constantly changing. Let's take a look at Kodak. Kodak invented digital photography. Think about that. They actually did invent digital photography. The company actually saw the future before the market did. But internally, the system was optimized around film revenue. The structure resisted adaptability. The institutions protected the past. And eventually, the environment changed faster than the organization could evolve. That's complexity. The threat wasn't ignorance. The threat was structural rigidity. Now let's move further down the list. Let's look at non-linearity. When small things become big things, one of the most dangerous assumptions in leadership is believing effort and outcome moves proportionally. In real systems, they often don't. Sometimes huge efforts create tiny results, while tiny triggers create massive consequences. That is what complexity science calls non-linearity. Let's use something simple. Imagine pushing a large rock uphill. At first, nothing happens. You keep pushing, still nothing. More pressure, still nothing. Then suddenly, the rock moves. To someone watching casually, it looks sudden, but the movement was building long before it became visible. That is how market crashes happen. Political unrest develops, innovation spreads, institutions collapse, and cultural revolutions emerge. The visible moment is usually the final release of accumulated pressure. And that is why reactive leadership is dangerous, because by the time the problem becomes visible, the system has often been deteriorating for years. I think this is a major breakthrough in an understanding of how system operates, because every economic action or reaction you see taking place has come as a result of accumulated pressure that has been on that system, every political pressure, every political action or reaction, every economic action or reaction. Let's take an example for the stock market. Most often we just see a stock price spike up, and we think that it's just a thing or two. But when we look further closely, we realize that it might have been a decision that the administration or the management had made years back or months back that is now finally affecting the stock price of their share, the stock price of their company or organization. Another angle to take a look at that is also the same way when the stock price falls. Most often is a result of decisions that have been made months back or years back before it shows or the implication shows on the stock price. And sometimes they are also immediate, but you want to be rest assured that there are long-standing decisions that are affecting every reaction or impact you see. Now let's quickly move further. Let's take a look at the hidden danger of success. Now here is where systems become deceptive. Failure is not the only thing that destabilizes systems. Success can destabilize them too. In fact, some systems collapse precisely because they became successful. A company grows rapidly, revenue increases, demand explodes, everybody celebrates growth. But beneath the surface, communication systems weaken, onboarding quality drops, leadership becomes overstretched, decision making slow, culture fragments, operation discipline declines. Externally, success. Internally, structural overload. This is why complexity requires leaders to monitor not just performance but capacity, because growth without adaptive capacity creates fragility, and many institutions confuse momentum for sustainability. Thank you for staying with us, and this is the first part of the Science and Sustainability of Systems, episode 4, and we're going to go on a break now. Then after the break, we'll come back to discuss further the second and third order effects. What then happens, the ripple effect of every action or decision made. This is Amogate Radio Communications, and I am Olamilekon Neniola. Thank you for staying with me.
At Armor Gates Training, we believe professional development should do more than inform. It should transform how people work, lead, and deliver results. That's why we support organizations through conceptual insight, practical learning, and performance evaluation right at the intersection of leadership, strategy, and institutional transformation. Our approach focuses on practical learning format that professionals can immediately apply in their workplace. At Armor Gate, we don't teach theory alone. We equip participants with real-world insight drawn from almost 2 decades of organizational transformation experience. Our programs combine multiple learning methods designed for real-time measurable results. Through seminars, we facilitate deep conversation on key subjects. Using group exercises, participants collaborate, reflect, and think strategically. With case studies, they then sharpened analytical and decision-making skills using real industry scenarios. Through relevant videos, we spark insightful discussions using relatable real-life context. All in all, every participant develops an individual work plan, ensuring the learning turns into real action after the program. Our training programs are hosted in world-class venues across global cities, including Addis Ababa, Nairobi, Mombasa, Cape Town, Dubai, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, London, Florida, and Washington, D.C. Let's work with you to turn learning into your organization's growth. For more inquiries, call +234 807 9574 151 or WhatsApp +1 610 504 6026. Visit www.thearmorgate.org. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Armorgate. Armorgate Training, transforming knowledge, interaction, and growth.
Welcome back. This is the Science and Sustainability of Systems, and it's a beautiful Tuesday here. I hope you are having a productive week thus far. The first part of the conversation, we've been able to further break into the science of systems. How do we design systems and how do we sustain them? We started the conversation looking at why intelligent people still mismanage systems, and we're able to establish that through the fact that when we are dealing with humans, outcomes cannot be entirely predictable. Then we further discussed complicated systems versus complex systems. We discussed complicated system being a system that is awesome, but at the end, everything can be easily predictable if studied enough. While complex systems are systems that are made up of humans, where the components inside them, which is human beings, change behavior continuously. And then direct predictability is not a luxury we can afford. Then we also looked into non-linearity, the relationship between efforts and outcome. We're able to establish how little efforts produce massive outcomes many times, and how massive efforts might just produce a very little outcome. So these are the conversations we have had in the first part of the episode 4 of the science and sustainability of systems. We also looked into the hidden danger of success, where success might be a reason a system fails. We rounded up the first part talking about complexity requires a leader to monitor not just performance but capacity, because growth without adaptive capacity creates fragility, and many institutions confuse momentum for sustainability. So what we're going to discuss now is the ripple effect, the second order effect, the consequences behind the consequences. This is one of the most important concepts in systems thinking. The ripple effect, second order effect. Now, let's take the basic meaning, that is the consequence behind the consequence. If you should take an action A, we understand that it's going to give a consequence of action B or a reaction of action B. Then now we're trying to look further past action B. What then happens? What is the reaction we're expecting by action C, D, E, and F, all the way to as long as it can get? We're trying to look at the ripple effect, because when many people are making decisions, they make decisions only evaluating the immediate effect or impact of such decision. But in systems that we have established operate or react in layers. We had this conversation in one of the previous episodes where we broke down events to patterns, then patterns to cultures, then from cultures to the belief itself. So this has given us the idea of how systems react in layers. For example, let's take an example to bring this up. The government imposes heavy import restrictions to protect local industries. So what is the immediate effect we expect from this? The local producers feel relief because they can then sell more, because they have more market to sell into. But what most people would not notice are the secondary effects that begin quietly. The prices increases, competition weakens, efficiency drops, smuggling networks emerge, corruption opportunities expand, consumers lose purchasing power. The first order effect look positive. The second order effect destabilize the broader system. This is why systems leadership requires intellectual patience, because the real impact of decisions often appears much later, and immature leadership cultures are addicted to immediate optics. I think in one of our conversations from the last quarter, where we discussed when we are looking at the nexus of economics and politics, the development roadmap, we had a conversation that surrounds how leaders want immediate results that would show in their 4-year cycle, and how systems are not designed to operate like that. I think this is a further reinforcement of what we are saying. And When we are having these conversations, that is the sustainability, science of sustainability of systems, the nexus of economics and policies, these are conversations that are interwoven, and it's important that we reference every now and then, showcase such connections within them so we can have a broader understanding of how it operates, because both cannot be treated distinctly or independently. They are conversations that are interdependent. So this immature leadership idea or cultures that are addicted to immediate optics are often reasons that affect much systems, because you just want to put out a policy, you want to put out a decision, or a policy, or a fiscal policy or monetary policy that just showcases one immediate effect that is positive. Then we fail to put into consideration the multiplier effect, the ripple effect. What then occurs after what we have wanted is already in place? Maybe a government puts out a price ceiling on a particular product. When the price ceiling is operating, because of the unavailability of it, then it opens way automatically to the black market. So these are the conversations, or these are the things we want to put into consideration when we are making decisions in systems. When we're making systemic decisions. So it's important that when you look at the first order effect, you also put into consideration the second order, the third order, the ripple effects, the further consequences of the action we're taking. At Amogate, one of our core principles is this: every intervention changes more than the target. That means intelligent systems leadership requires anticipation, scenario thinking, feedback monitoring, and continuous adjustment. Now let's move on with our conversation. And today we're going to be looking at emergence, outcomes nobody designed. One of the most fascinating things about complexity is emergence. Emergence means systems can produce outcomes nobody intentionally created. Think about social media. No single person designed mass digital outrage, algorithm polarization, attention addiction, or misinformation ecosystems. These outcomes emerge from interaction patterns. The same things happen inside organizations. Nobody intentionally designs a toxic culture, yet toxic cultures emerge every day. Why? Because incentives reward silence, leaderships punish honesty, information becomes political, employees stop taking risks, departments compete instead of collaborating. Eventually, distrust becomes normalized. And then leader says, why is the morale low? But the morale is not random. It is systemic. Culture is not declared in speeches. Culture emerges from repeated interactions. I'll take that again. Culture, organizational culture, or system culture is not declared in speeches. It emerges from repeated interactions. All of this that we've been talking about this morning brings us to a point why centralized control eventually breaks. This next point is critical for government, corporations, and institutions. Complex systems eventually outgrow centralized intelligence, meaning no single leader can possess enough information fast enough to control the entire system effectively. This is one reason large institutions become slow over time. As systems grow, layers increase, communication distorts, information arrives late, local realities disappear, bureaucracy expands. Then leaderships become disconnected from operational truth. This is why highly centralized institutions often appear powerful until crisis exposes their fragility. We saw this during COVID-19. One disruption triggered supply chain failures, inflation shocks, labor shortages, manufacturing delays, shipping congestion, political instability. The world realized something uncomfortable. efficiency is not the same thing as resilience. Many systems had optimized themselves so aggressively for efficiency that they lost flexibility, and these systems without flexibility become brittle. So what are we saying at Harmogate? We are saying let us start designing systems that learn. At Harmogate, we believe the future belongs to adaptive systems, not rigid systems, not personality-driven systems, not systems that are dependent on heroic individuals. We are discussing systems that are adaptive, systems that learn continuously, systems that detect pressure early, systems that decentralizes intelligence, systems that shorten the feedback loops and evolve before collapse become inevitable. The old leadership was built around authority. The emerging model must be built around learning. This changes everything. It changes governance, business strategy, institutional design, organizational leadership, and even education. The goal is no longer how do we prevent all failures. Rather, we already agreed now that that is impossible. The goal then becomes how do we build systems that recovers intelligently from stress. That is resilience. And resilience, not perfection, is what sustains system over time. As we wrap up episode 4, I want to leave you with a shift in mindset. Most people spend their lives trying to predict the future, but complex systems punish overconfidence. The stronger strategy is not prediction. The stronger strategy is preparedness. Preparedness means building adaptive capacity, creating feedback system, protecting institutional flexibility, reducing fragility, and designing structures that can survive uncertainty. Because uncertainty is not an interruption to the system. Uncertainty is the system. So this week, we ask ourselves, where are we oversimplifying complexity? Which problems are structural rather than individual? What ripple effects are we ignoring? Are we optimizing for short-term efficiency while weakening long-term resilience? Is our system capable of learning or only capable of reacting? Because the future will not belong to the organizations with the most control. It will belong to the organizations that adapt fastest without losing coherence. I am Olamilekan Eniola. Let's stop trying to force certainty into a complex world. Start building systems intelligent enough to build within it. This is episode 4 of the Science and Sustainability of Systems. This is Harmogate Radio Communications. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll see you again next week, same day. Have a productive week ahead.
Harmogate, founded in 2008 out of a desire to build transgenerational structures for organizations, institutions, and nations. We have worked with large businesses, international development organizations, and public sector ministries and agencies. Harmogate, our uniqueness is that we do not just work for you, we work with you. For example, we do not leave you to the task after sourcing talent that will help the new hire settle into robust leadership development programs. We are technical experts in advising and supporting institutions on strategy and leadership, artificial intelligence, strategic human resource management, public sector reform, finance, audit and tax, FAT, and strategic communications. We do all this and more out of a desire to transform nations through institutions and organizations. For further inquiries, email contact@theharmogate.org or call +234 810 999 6666, +234 807 957 4151, and +161 0504 6026. www.thearmorgate.org. Armorgate, building to endure and transforming nations through institutions and organizations.